Hello dear viewers, and welcome to the studying of subcultures. Today marks the first entry about subcultures for my sociology class, as we will be taking a look into the iconic Team Fortress 2. If you are watching this video, you're probably wondering as a non-gamer, what is a Team Fortress 2? Fair enough,
and I'll tell you.
As the game is about 16 years old, and we will be looking at the subculture within it, split it into two halos. How characters become symbolic, and old communication.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I've been playing the game for nearly 6 years. Look at my inventory. Also, I've been watching a lot of TF2 content. So without any further ado, let's pick our favorite class, put on our fanciest hat, and queue up for 2 for it, cause we're rocket jumping right into this. Alright, so symbolic interactism is at play here when playing Team Fortress 2. But why is that? The answer is very simple, is that I have personal experience and other people have the same experiences that I have had when interacting with other people in the game, mainly the characters. I can't help but feel clever when I see a certain characteristic or a certain mechanic or gimmick that a character has that no other character has, that I figure, oh, that's a scout, or that's a soldier, and then I outsmart them in their way of killing me. For example, let's say if we go to 2 Fort to play Capture the Flag, and I hear
Alert! The enemy has taken our intelligence.
For a few seconds I will assume where they're going based on the radar at the bottom of the screen, but then I will assume that it is a scout because of how fast he can grab the flag in a matter of seconds. Or a really good example, let's say I went to their intel room as a scout. I hear a single or a
building a sentry.
I will start to feel cautious because I know that there is an engineer that has already set up a sentry or is starting to set up a sentry in the intel room. And if I'm not careful, I could die. And I would have to re-infiltrate the entire enemy team again. If a new player heard this, they would be curious, and then, well, this scene speaks for itself.
Buddy, you know what happens if you do that, right?
No! Lastly, if I heard the word spy in-game, I would start hitting any area that I could possibly think of where the spy would hide. Because of how the spy can turn invisible, he could pretty much be anywhere. You don't have a scanner, all you have is your weapon. So if you're looking for someone who's invisible, what would you do? You're just gonna shoot everywhere until you eventually find them. This is called spy check.
Get that motherfucker!
This happens a lot with all the classes in Team Fortress 2. If you hear the soldier's rocket launcher, you should probably take cover or else you're gonna get blown to bits. If you hear pyros mumble, keep your distance because this flamethrower can only go so far. For Demo Man, you would start looking for stickies or the Demo Man. You hear Heavy's gun revved up, run away. You hear medic say, I am fully charged! Take him down, or if his Huber is pumped, you need to run. And if you see a bright red light or blue light, go another way, because there's a good chance there's a sniper over there and he's just charging his dot and just waiting to just pop your head off. When a TF2 player plays for a while, they learn not only how to counter classes, but also how classes act, or what gives them away in the presence, that being sound or sight. It is genius because of how you have to listen close or look for anything that could be off, that could blow someone's intentions, and punish them. Not to mention, if you're a spy, you can mess with people by inserting voice commands. And if you're wondering, what do the characters say?
You take some chocolate and some lobster and some eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your body.
Alright. Let's get one thing straight. TF2 roughly takes place between the years 1968 to 1972. So, with that being said, let's hear some of the voice lines that the characters have to say to understand where they're getting at.
I am owning you, you fat, bald bastard! Nice hustle, tons of fun. Next time, eat a salad.
I just bagged the world's fattest man. Well, off to visit your mother. Dominated. And I've been shagging your wife. I'll notify your next of kin that you sucked. Good Lord, you fight like a woman. Go home, lassie. Men are fighting here. Too slow, medicine woman. Sorry there, nurse. I mistook you for an actual threat. Scotland is not a real country. You are an Englishman with a dress. Go back to Calgary, you cow-herding Canadian. This American boot just kicked your ass back to Russia.
Well, those were some of the quotes that the mercs say in the game. I could tell that this game would have gotten backlash today, but someone already did a video on that. how it took place a little while ago, thanks to Peter Scraps. The source isn't too reliable, though. It's because it seems like a Twitter for Christian extremists.
He talks about God's world being his.
This is my world. You are not welcome in my world.
When I heard this, I was...
But you know what is evidence? Is the phrase that Devilman says
Go home, lassie! Men are fighting here!
would be a microaggression because Devilman is calling a guy, a lassie, a girl, to go home because of gender. Remember the time period of the game. This was during the second wave of the feminist movement. There was the fight for equal access during this time frame, 1968 to 1972. Another good example would be is when the soldier says,
This American boot just kicked your ass back to Russia.
Oh!
That's one way to segregate others. These were the voice lines of the characters from Team Fortress 2 to portray the 1968 and 1972 aesthetic, which they have done successfully because Valve wrote them in such a way to portray the mercenaries and how people would speak back then. Because of how back then everything was pretty loose, not as censored as it was today.
They don't make them like they used to.
You're a fat bitch, you are.
Yeah!
Okay, so that was all we needed to cover today, from how their gimmicks become iconic and recognizable to TF2 players compared to non-TF2 individuals. Lastly, the communication between the mercs is very different and pretty much a little offensive nowadays. Well, that was the look into the subculture of Team Fortress 2, but before I leave and everyone else leaves this room, let's just remember one thing. This game is really stupid, but it's also really fun.